Hey, what's going on, everybody? Okay, so the last video we talked about banner ads, and this time we're going to talk about full screen ads. Um, Now, full screen ads are a little bit different, as obviously you don't want them showing on your screen all the time because it's kind of hard to play the game with the full screen ad on there. So you gotta kind of have to pick and choose when you want your full screen ads to show. Some people do it when you exit out of the main game and go to the level select screen, or exit out of the game altogether. That's completely up to you. I'm going to show you how I do it, and then you can just take that code idea and basically implement it wherever you are. So in my game currently, you have your title screen. You hit start. Okay, this is a generic shooter. You click start, and then the very first screen that pops up before the game starts is your instructions. And I do this on a lot of my games that have full screen ads, just because this is the actual spot where I show my full screen ad. It'll pop up over this screen, so they have to close the full screen ad, then click start, and then the game will begin. Okay. Now, if we go to our main game, oops, you'll see here this is a MoPub full screen ad size. And if you'll notice, they're much smaller than a tablet screen. Now, depending on which ad network you use, this may vary, and they may be able to detect the device and send out an ad. But you don't really have to concern yourself with that. It's going to show up in the center of your screen, in the center of your window. So what I've done is basically put it in a spot where it's over the start button. Not that it matters, because it's going to take over the focus of the screen. You can't hit start without closing this ad anyways. So what will happen is when they get to this screen, they'll be presented with the ad. They'll close the ad, read the instructions, and start the game. All right, and then so basically each time this displays, or each time this layout is restarted, I will go ahead and show a full screen ad again. Okay. So the code for that is, it's very similar to the banner ads. So on our title screen, what we want to do is on our start of layout, we want to go to our CocoonJS Object, and we want to preload a full screen ad this time. So we'll preload that full screen ad, and then we'll go to our main, and on the start of layout, what we want to do is show our full screen ad. Now, one thing you might want to do, and this is something I've done on a couple of my games, a lot of it was just testing, was sometimes the full screen ads will take a little while to load. So if the person just launches this, hits start real quickly, goes to the game, it didn't really give it enough time for the full screen ad to load. So what I'll do sometimes is after clicking start, I'll throw in a second layout that the start button will go to, and it'll just be kind of like a fake loading screen, and it'll load for, I don't know, 5-10 seconds or whatever, show a percentage going up, and that just gives the full screen ad time to preload, that initial time, that first time through. So if you notice you're not getting your full screen ads, you might want to try throwing in some kind of a time delay between clicking start and the game actually loading, to give it time to load. And that's fairly easy to do. I can always do a separate tutorial on creating that fake loading screen if it's something that you guys need. Okay, so with that said, we got our main screen and we're showing our full screen ad. All right, and then that'll close, and then the player will keep playing. Now, the difference here is full screen ad's not on the screen all the time, so it's not constantly refreshing. Okay, and you're not preloading new ones, so you're kind of stuck there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to create a new function. I'm sorry, just a new. Let's see, I have my functions sheet. Usually I'll just do it this way, because just to show you guys, I usually will create an extra event sheet, and I'll call it ads. Okay, and then in my main game, I'm going to include that event sheet, and Also on my top, basically in any part of my game, any one of my layout event sheets, I'm going to add this event sheet. All right, so what we're going to do in here is I'm going to create a global variable called add counter. All right, I'm going to set it at 0. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare my add counter, and I'm going to say if it's greater than or equal to 60, then what I want to do is I want to go to CocoonJS, and I want to refresh my full screen ad. All right, and then I'm going to reset my add counter back to 0. And then we're going to do in every tick, we are simply going to add delta time to our add counter. Okay, so this is just basically making a simple timer. And this sheet's going to be running everywhere. So every tick we're going to add DT to add counter. What add counter is, basically every 60 seconds. We're going to refresh our full screen ad. Now this is all done in the background. We're not actually showing the ad at this point. It's just constantly refreshing it so it's ready to go when we're ready to show it. All right. So then whenever we get back to this point, or on your game over screen and you want to show it or whatever, you should have an ad back there preloaded, ready to go. So when you go ahead and show your full screen ad, it'll be ready. Basically, it'll be refreshed and ready to go. So when you show it, boom, there it is. Okay. So the trickiest part with full screen ads is basically trying to find a spot to put them in. You may have to, like I said, make up stuff like I do with this instruction screen. I mean, normally you'd have that in a, you could have that in a separate button on your title screen to go to instructions. But this way, it just gives me a logical place of throwing an ad real quick. Doesn't interfere with gameplay. They can click it. They can click past it. They hit start, and they're off and playing. All right. So, you don't want to annoy people with the ads because, again, that'll start giving you bad reviews, and people will just stop installing your game, and you'll stop getting installs. So most people understand that you need ads to pay the bills. Just don't annoy them with them. So, and there's a lot of different ad companies, full screen ad companies out there. I've only used a few, and we'll get into that when we start doing the MoPub stuff in the next few videos. Okay, so that's a quick, easy way to add full screen ads to your game. So we have all the Construct 2 portions done, which is actually pretty easy. And now we're going to get into the fun stuff outside of Construct 2.